So have any of you had an opportunity to practice in the truth since the last time? Have any of you had anything come up that might give you the opportunity to see if you could choose for peace since the last time I saw you?
Yes.
How did you do?
Not bad.
You did pretty good? Looked like you kept your peace?
Yep.
Those who don't mind saying this with me, would you say nothing that I experience is caused by anything outside of me? Nothing that I experience is caused by anything outside of me. Just keep saying it. Nothing that I experience is caused by anything outside of me. Nothing that I experience is caused by anything outside of me. Nothing that I experience is caused by anything outside of me. Nothing that I experience is caused by anything outside of me. Then the next one is I experience only the effects of my own choice. I experience only the effects of my own choice. I experience only the effects of my own choice. I experience only the effects of my own choice. I experience only the effects of my own choice. I experience only the effects of my own choice. You need to come to the point where you can say to yourself, I have done this to myself. I did it. I must correct it. No one is to blame. The world is innocent. So I have done this to myself. I did it. I must correct it. No one is to blame. The world is innocent. I have done this to myself. I did it. I must correct it. No one is to blame. The world is innocent. The next thought to remember is that the truth is true always. There are no exceptions to the truth. It's always true. Not my will, but thine be done, for I can do nothing. But the Creator does all things through me. The Creator does all things through you. Rest assured, whenever you feel frustration, whenever you feel anxiety, whenever you feel frustration, whenever you feel anxiety, it's because you have decided not to trust the truth. You decided not to trust the truth, and the truth is simply this. Only my Creator's plan for my happiness will work. Only my Creator's plan for my happiness will work. Only my Creator's plan for my happiness will work. Only my Creator's plan for my happiness will work. Only the Creator's plan for my happiness will work. Only my Creator's plan for my happiness will work. Only my Creator's plan for my happiness will work. Only my Creator's plan for my happiness will work. So therefore, what plans have not worked?
Mine.
Thank you. What plans have not worked?
Mine.
Okay. It requires great humility to accept the first step on the path. I have done this, all this. I've done all this. I must undo it, but I have no idea how I did this. I have done all this. I must undo it, but I have no idea how I did this. I have no idea how I did this. I must undo it. I have done all this. Therefore, I must surrender to something else. I have done all this. I must undo it, but I have no idea how I did this. Therefore, I must surrender to something else. I must surrender to something else. If you would create well, ask only, what am I committed to communicating? What am I committed to communicating? What am I committed to communicating? What will my creations express? What will my creations express? What am I committed to communicating? What will my creations express? What will my creations convey to others? What will my creations convey to others? For what I seek to convey reveals what I believe is the truth of myself and to the world. And so what I seek to convey reveals what I believe is the truth of myself and to the world. So understand well, the way of the heart requires that you allow yourself to rest in the simplicity of truth. The simplicity of truth. I am pure spirit, undefiled and unaffected by anything or anyone. I am pure spirit. You are pure spirit. You are pure spirit, undefiled and unaffected by anything or anyone. I am given full power to choose. I am given full power to choose. You are given full power to choose. Full power to choose. And therefore, to create my experience as I would have it be. So you have the power to create your experience as you would have it be. You are given full power to choose, and therefore to create your experience as you would have your experience be. Do you have to believe that? No. Do you have to accept that? Do you have to welcome it? No. It might sound kind of startling and hard to believe, but if you use it, you'll see that it's true. It absolutely is true. You are pure spirit. You are undefiled. You are unaffected by anything or anyone. You really are given full power to create. And therefore, you have the full power to create your experience as you would have it be. Is there a part of you that's still waiting for somebody else to create it as you would have it be? Is there something in you that's waiting for somebody to show up that's going to help you have it like you want it to be? Okay. But the truth is, you are given full power to choose and therefore to create your experience as you would have it be. The truth is, nothing that you experience is caused by anything outside of you. Nothing that you experience is caused by anything outside of you. And you experience only the effects of your own choice. You're just experiencing the effects of your own choice. Did you have some cool effects since the last time I saw you? Have you had some cool effects? Some wonderful effects? Some effects that you enjoyed? Y'all so don't sound convincing.
Yes.
I'm telling you. Did y'all have the cool effects? Yeah. Those cool effects are coming from your own choice. Those cool effects came from your own choice. Nothing that you experience is being caused by anything outside of your choice. So take a breath. I just want you to breathe for a minute while I just share a little bit of truth to you. Breathe, relax. Nothing that I experienced is caused by anything outside of me. Nothing that you experience is caused by anything outside of you. Nothing that you experience is caused by anything outside of you. Nothing that you experience is caused by anything outside of you. Nothing that you experience is caused by anything outside of you. Nothing that you experience is caused by anything outside of you. You experience only the effects of your own choice. You experience only the effects of your own choice. You experience only the effects of your own choice. You gotta get to the point, gotta get to the point, gotta get to the point that you say to yourself, I have done this to myself. I did it, I did it, I must correct it. I did it, I did it, I must correct it. No one is to blame. No one is to blame. This world, the world is innocent. The world is innocent. The truth is true always. So you want to say to God, not my will, but thine be done, for I can do nothing, but the Creator does all things through me. Rest assured whenever you feel frustration and anxiety. 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 It's because you have decided not to trust the truth. I'll say it again. It's because you have decided not to trust the truth. And the truth is simply this. And the truth is simply this. Only my Creator's plan for my happiness will work. Only my Creator's plan for my happiness will work. Only my Creator's plan for my happiness will work. Only my Creator's plan for my happiness will work. Only my Creator's plan for my happiness will work. Only your Creator's plan for your happiness will work. Only your Creator's plan for your happiness will work. Say it with me now. Only my Creator's plan for my happiness will work. What? Only my Creator's plan for my happiness will work. Say what? Only my Creator's plan for my happiness will work. Say what? Only my Creator's plan for my happiness will work. Take a breath and go. Only my Creator's plan for my happiness will work. Only my Creator's plan for my happiness will work. Only my Creator's plan for my happiness will work. That's it. That's the only plan. Now, we know we're going to hear that and go right back out and playing, right? We know we just got through saying all that. Before the night's over, you're going to have your plan right back on the stove cooking. We all know that, right?
Yeah.
No. I know. It's always one of you. It's always one. That's okay. I'm one of them, too. We're going to be on page 201. And we're going to start the paragraph that says 22:18. It says, obviously, two kinds of meaning are being talked about in the course of love. The first meaning we talked of earlier as the finding of truth. The second kind of meaning is what we are talking of here, the finding of a definition, a personal meaning. Can you tell the difference? The personal and individual is the I we are dispelling. We are dispelling the personal and individual I. Think a moment of how you tell a story or report on events that have taken place within your life. You personalize. You are likely to report on what a certain set of circumstances meant to you. You're likely to talk about what a certain set of circumstances meant to you. This kind of thinking is thinking with the small I. I saw. I felt. I thought. I did. Anybody familiar with that? I saw. I felt. I thought. I did. I saw. I felt, I thought, I did, I saw, I felt, I thought, I did. The individual, personal, separated self is at the center of all such stories. One quite literally cannot conceive of the story without the personal I. Yet this is what you must learn to do. And this task is given you as an exercise. I want you to begin to imagine life passing through you rather than getting stopped for examination at its intersection with you. Imagine life passing through you instead of getting stopped by all of your examinations at the intersection of you. Think of life as passing through you instead of you stopping your life to examine it and judge it. We are examining and judging our life and not allowing it to pass through us. And when it passes through you, you totally enjoy it. A life that's passing through you excites you. A life that's being examined frightens you. Because you're examining it based on the meanings you are giving everything. And those meanings in most cases are based on erroneous perceptions of who you are. Perceptions that say you are less than lovable, or less than loving, or less than whole, or less than complete. Something about your childhood that should have been different, or something didn't happen right in the past. That's what we're using to examine our life as it passed by. And so it gets stopped at the intersection. And in some cases, there's like a really big accident right at the intersection. So right now, if your life is less than thrilling, you're examining it instead of living it. Yeah. And instead of letting it pass through you, you're judging it. Okay? And then it says, begin to imagine life passing through you rather than getting stopped for examination at its intersection with you. Begin to imagine begin to imagine seeing the world without the emphasis on your personal self. Try to imagine just for a moment of seeing this world without emphasizing you for a change. That's what we're being told. I know it's a way out concept, but just for a little while during the day, sometimes think of something except you. Radical concept, a ridiculous book. And it says, begin to imagine seeing the world without the emphasis on your personal self. Begin to form sentences and eventually to tell stories without the use of the I pronoun. Learn how to talk without saying I. That's deep. This will seem at first as if it's depersonalizing the world and making the world less intimate. It will seem at first as if you are shirking some primal responsibility to assign meaning to everything. Rather than resisting this, strive to cease giving meaning. One of the things I've been working on a lot lately is listening without trying to judge it or give meaning to what's being said. And I've been doing that. And it's been interesting, the different reactions that I've gotten in different places and in different situations. Because it will seem like I'm thinking, or to seem like I'm judging, because I'm observing and trying not to personalize it, and also trying to take the focus off of me and just be 100% present. And it's saying, for example, he says, rather than resisting this, strive to cease giving meaning. Start quite simply. In other words, go from the broad to the specific. For example, when you walk out of your door in the morning, you might generally think, what a lovely day. Lovely day, lovely day, right? He says what this sentence says is that you have immediately taken in your surroundings and judged your surroundings, and it's a lovely day to you. The day has all or most of the requirements you find pleasing in a day. That's why it's such a lovely day. It's fitting my idea of what a lovely day should be. Got you with me so far?
Yeah.
All right. Then it says, replace such a thought with the grass is green, the birds are singing, the sun is warm. In other words, instead of giving a meaning based on what you think a good day looks like, the Spirit is telling us, just report on what you see. The tree is green, the carpet is there, the camera is there, the table is there, the bodies are sitting there. That's not giving a meaning to everything in terms of how it's pleasing me. I'm just reporting what I see. See the difference? Reporting what you see is, there's a book right there, there's a table right there, there's a notebook right there, there's a flyer right there, there's a glass. I'm not saying it's a lovely flyer, it's a lovely pair of glasses, because that's still based on my idea of what a lovely pair of glasses are. I'm the one giving it the meaning. It might be the ugliest pair of glasses that's ever been seen by somebody else. So it's trying to get us to the point that we can actually see things as they are instead of seeing everything through the filter of our personal likes and dislikes and our personalization of everything. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
That you're really not seeing anybody, you're just seeing the meanings that you're giving to everybody. And this book is trying to get us to the point that we can really see what's there by looking beyond our judgments. Good. So it says that when you are asked questions such as, how was your day? Respond as much as possible without using the words I or my. In other words, quit referring to people and things in terms of ownership. Stop saying my boss, my husband, my mate, my car, my book, my camera, my microphone, my sweater, my pants. This is just an experiment. Don't freak out. This is just an experiment, okay? This is just, you'll survive 2 minutes of not saying I guarantee you'll survive. And even though, like you said, you're going to get a lot of resistance. Why? Because that's the opposite of what a separated self wants to hear. Because it's all about us connecting with each other and knowing that we're all one. So there's an inherent resistance to any form of depersonalization. Because we're so used to identifying ourselves with I and my, I and my, I and my, I and my, I and my. And so it's saying to us that just for a little while, stop referring to people as my. Then it goes on to say, this removal of the personal I is but the first step in returning you to the consciousness of unity. That's what I was saying. This is the first step to returning you to the consciousness of oneness. This is the first step in going beyond meaning as in terms of definition to meaning in terms of the truth. We think things have meaning according to the definitions we give them, and this is saying there's a meaning beyond the definition that you give it. That I have a meaning beyond what you think I mean, and you have a meaning beyond what I think I mean. And so stop saying I and my so much is the first step to regaining a consciousness of unity. And he says, as odd and impersonal as it will seem at first, it's not denying that at first this will seem odd. The Course of Love says, I assure you the feeling of impersonality will be replaced quickly. What's the word there? Quickly, with an intimacy with your surroundings that you've never felt before. Really, on the other side of depersonalizing everything is an intimacy with everything that you've never ever experienced in your life. True intimacy is on the other side of our definitions and our judgments. True intimacy is on the other side of our definitions and our judgments and our meaning. True intimacy is on the other side of our judgments, our meanings. What's keeping me from feeling intimate with you right now is what I'm telling myself about who you are and who I am. That's the only reason why we don't feel intimate in this room right now. It's whatever we're telling ourselves about each other right now and how we should express ourselves with each other right now and what's real right now. But our real connection is on the other side of the definitions that we're giving each other right now. And the first step to regaining a consciousness of unity is just for a little while taking the emphasis off of me, I, me, my personal beliefs, my personal ideas of what's valuable and what's real and what's true. So what this is doing is giving us the way to get back to the consciousness of unity, which is, if I'm not mistaken, is what we're claiming we're in the class for, is to get back to this feeling of connection and oneness, right? So we're receiving the way to do that. And of course it's going to be opposite to what we would naturally do, because what we would naturally do is what's creating the separation we're trying to overcome. So it would be kind of insane for the book to tell us to do what we're already doing. It would be more sane than we would be told to do stuff that would be odd to us in terms of what we're used to doing. Don't you think? That if it really was going to be something new, it's not going to be what we already think is true. It's going to be something else. And so we're getting it. What's the main point of this page? Well, I want you to let go of all that I felt, I saw, I did. The other thing I'd like you to do is start to see your life as passing through you and stop examining it and judging it. And then it goes on to tell us that whenever we say we like something or it's lovely or it's wonderful, that's just our own personal meaning that we've given to it. And if we were to depersonalize ourselves for a little while, then we would feel an intimacy with each other beyond anything that we've ever felt before, because we would finally know who we were beyond our judgments. Cha-cha-cha. Okay, what was your question, Frank?
Well, you pretty much, Earl, said what I was going to say is one way to simplify that for me, that I see me from it. Is taking the adjectives out of things. That's a lovely cup. What a beautiful day. It's just today. It's a cup. Things like that. The adjectives, what lovely, exciting, blah blah blah. Those are all things, labels that I'm putting on things.
Exactly.
So I was just thinking, that's gonna be tough. That's actually kind of a tough thing for me. That's gonna be tough for me to do.
Well,
but I'm gonna do it.
That's what we were told, that it's gonna seem odd and peculiar to us to do it. But that doesn't preclude us doing it, or being able to do it, or even attempting to do it. And it's, even if you did it for 30 seconds, it still would be an attempt to do it.
That's off the beaten track.
I know, that's what I love about it.
I know, that's cool.
That's
cool.
what turns me on about this stuff. I'm so glad at the very least I'm hearing something different from what I hear all the time. That's worth the price of admission right there. The fact that we hear something in this hour that's not what the world says is true.
Yeah.
Jesus. He said, this intimacy itself, anybody else? Yes.
Well, Earl, I just like what you said about how, I don't really know who anyone really is, because I think I know them, but it's based on the perceptions that I put on them.
Right.
And it's I don't really like, and no offense or anything, but I don't really know who you are. I just know you based on the perceptions that I put on you.
Right, and hopefully you'll put a perception on me that will be cool enough to make you treat me in a loving way. That's the most I can hope for about the projection you're going to make. And then I already know that projection is going to be a reflection of how you feel about yourself. So if you don't really love yourself, the projection you're gonna put on me is a judgment. That's the way it works, you know. People who don't love themselves, they have a tendency to see things in terms of lack and what's missing rather than what's there and what they can appreciate. But the mere fact that you know it is your meaning and your projection that you're putting on me is the power. That's the beauty of what you just said, is that you said, I'm the one projecting this on you. Yeah, because all anger is projection. All upset is projection. It's all projection. Yeah.
So when somebody asks you, hey man, how's your day going? How you doing today? What's the proper response?
However you feel in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then you're gonna go to I. Well, and then you're describing the I, my perception of that day.
Right.
I'm doing great.
Right.
You know,
Well, when you hear this kind of stuff, still do whatever you feel like doing in the moment.
I'm trying to get my arms around how to.
But that's what I just said. Tell them how you think
Mm-hmm.
how you think you feel in that moment, because anything other than that is inauthentic.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about how you think you ought to respond to them in that moment. It's really about being who you are in that moment. And if that moment you feel like saying, I think it's a lovely day, then that's the right thing for you to say. And then the time for you to think of how you, what's the question? What was the question you said ask?
What's it? How's your day going, man?
Right. You know, how's my day going? I don't know.
That's good.
I don't know how my day is going. I know I can tell you how I feel. I feel peaceful right now as far as I know, but I don't really know how the day is going. I don't know.
I'm just trying to get my mind to work without the I and the me.
Right.
It is,
Right. Right.
like Brad was saying, that's kind of hard. That, you know.
Yeah, and it's going to take a minute to think of how to do that. You know, one of the ways to do that would be, you know, saying we feel really good today. We are having a very beautiful day today. You know, it doesn't matter how you respond. Just try to get away from I and me. You can say us, we, they. There's a lot of other words that we can say other than it's just about for a little while not putting the focus on you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not saying all day long you never say the word I. It's saying that we should just have an experiment to see what it would be like to not use the word I as much as possible. So that doesn't mean if I feel like it's the most natural thing for me to say in that moment, I wouldn't say it. But if I'm sitting down for a moment and I consciously got a minute to think about it, I could come up with some things to say to myself that don't involve I. You see what I mean? But as far as me trying to figure that out in the split second that somebody says to me, hey, how you doing today? That would be an ego trick, because what you're doing at that point is heavily examining the moment and not letting it pass through you. Now you're examining whether you should say I or not. Is it proper to say I? So you're right back to the combination again, where if I just said what I felt in the moment, and then when I had a little time to myself go, how could I have said that in a way that didn't use the word I? That would be just as effective, because it's really something you're practicing with yourself. So when you got time to think about it, then come up with something else. If you're in the spirit of the moment, then say what comes natural to you in that moment. That would be what I would do. I'm all about easy. And that's the direction I go in now. And so easy for me would be just show up however I am in that moment. However that is. You know, I might show up in that moment and not want to use the word I. It might come totally natural. Or I might show up in that moment and want to say I. Well, I just go ahead and say I. And then later on figure out how I could have said it differently. You know, make it easier for yourself.
I was just thinking when you were talking about the difference if somebody, you know, if I went home tonight and somebody called and said, how was your class tonight? If I said, like I would usually say, well, it was good for me, or I was tired, or I got a lot out of it, it's just saying, or I could say, we had a good class, and the feeling around that is completely different, and that's what you're talking about.
Right.
Because if I said, we had a good class, then all of a sudden it's like, everybody seemed to feel like they, you know, I got the perception that people were in a good mood, that the message was good for more of the people, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It changes the whole way I view what I'm about ready to say.
That's right. And it immediately is an expression of unity consciousness.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the point. The point is to take us into unity consciousness. Okay? Thank you, both of you. I appreciate the sharing. He says the intimacy itself will allow you to see your so-called self as an integral part of all that exists within your world, rather than as the small and insignificant personal self you generally accept as yourself. In other words, when you don't use I, he says that you will see yourself more as an integral part of everything. But when you use I, it makes you see yourself as a small and insignificant personal self in comparison to everything. So one of them makes me think I'm this separate self from everything. Not using I makes me feel like an integral part of everything. One of them makes me feel a part of everything. Another one makes me feel separate from everything. I makes me feel separate from everything. We makes me feel an integral part of everything. Us makes me feel an integral part of everything. That's one of the reasons why people like to get in relationships, because they get a chance to say us, we, us, we going to the movie, we going this, we going to do that, we going to go, we. It's a whole lot of we in there, you know what I'm saying? So, people like that, you know. And so it says, by eliminating the personal, the universal becomes available. Hello, by eliminating the personal, the universal becomes available. As the universal becomes available, you will have no desire for the personal. In other words, the more something is universally available to you, perfect analogy for nerds. Used to be you always kept your email on your computer. So the only way you could really access your email, your personal email, was to be at your personal computer. If you wanted to access your email anywhere else, you couldn't. Now, through Yahoo and Gmail and all those things, all your mail is what they call in the cloud. So it's universally available. So you could be at anybody's computer, access it on the website, and get your mail. So now I'd much rather have a universal access to my email than a personal access to my email. As universal is better than personal, but the ego mind doesn't want to believe that because it's so much into my personal mate, my personal relationship, my personal house, my personal car. What would you rather have, a personal car that you can only access in Denver, or have a universal access to cars that no matter where you went, you could have a car? You would choose the universal over the personal.
Sure.
You know, how would you like it if you could have love everywhere you went, other than only experiencing love with one person when you were just with them and around them? Yeah, you never hear nothing when you say that question. It's supposed. In 30 years of teaching, I've never heard a class ever act excited about the idea of love being more than one person. It's interesting. It's like it's so ingrained in us that love should only be personal, that we don't even realize that you'll have the most incredible personal love you've ever experienced when you allow yourself to have universal love. That's where the best personal love comes from.
It's easier when you're single to go, I'd like universal love though.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And it would be best to say that when you're single, is that you would like to have you want to be open to the love wherever it is. But I'm not going to get really deep into this special relationship stuff because I don't want to lose the class. So I'm going to keep on going. All right, because I know we most fixed in our ways when it comes to how we want to do love. You know, it's just the way we are. You know, we just think it's limited. You know. By eliminating the personal, the universal becomes available. As the universal becomes available, you have no desire for the personal. Even so, you will find that what you consider your individuality, or uniqueness, is very much intact. So even if you're going for the universality, your own individuality and your own uniqueness will still be intact. He says, but that you will find is different than you have always imagined it to be. In other words, you will find that you fulfill a grand purpose in your uniqueness. You fulfill a grand purpose within the universal in your uniqueness, and you have a wonderful part to play in a grand design. That's why we don't have to ever worry about being lost in the shuffle of the universal, because there's a role for you to play that no one else can play but you in the grand design of awakening. This is the grand design of awakening to who we really are. Each and every one of us has a special part to play. The reason why most people are unhappy is because they're not fulfilling their special function. If you're fulfilling your special function, you're happy and you know you're taken care of. If you're not fulfilling your special function, then you're efforting and you're struggling. So you can tell that when you're in touch with your special function, life is effortless. When you're not in touch with your special function, you're struggling and everything is a struggle. So based on those two definitions right now, you can have a pretty good idea of how much you're fulfilling your function. If your day consists of doing something you don't want to do all day, you're right, you're not fulfilling your function. You're not misperceiving, you aren't. If your life is a struggle and everything in it is a struggle, you're not fulfilling your function. That's not a sin. It's just a mistake not to fulfill your function, because your happiness and your function are one. Your happiness and your function are the exact same thing. How can I tell when I'm fulfilling my function is when I'm experiencing joy? How can I tell when I'm not fulfilling my function? Because I'm miserable all the time and feeling guilty and afraid and unhappy. Okay, everybody clear where they are? Everybody clear where they are? Yes.
It gets
Think so.
tricky because throughout the day I'm happy and upset, and so in the moments that I'm bothered, I could say I'm not fulfilling my function.
Right.
So therefore, like, maybe this isn't the thing I need to be doing.
Or the way you should be looking at it.
Yes, that's the confusing part. How do you tell whether it's that you're not fulfilling your function or you're
They're the same.
you're not looking at it right?
They're the same. Your function is to look at it correctly. Your function is to be another way of looking at things in the world.
Oh, so it doesn't matter what you do.
It doesn't really matter what you do. Exactly. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Everything in the physical world is just a prop.
Okay.
The world is nothing but a prop to act out your function of learning how to perceive with love and how to perceive yourself with love. And your personality is your own unique way of allowing that to happen. Okay. Most people don't know they would be taken care of if they just saw things correctly. But they think they'll be taken care of because they're behaving correctly or doing something. So the biggest shift for beings to make on a spiritual path is to understand that they are consciousness. You are awareness. Everything that's happening to you is just happening in your awareness. So therefore your life is only made up of what you are aware of. So now it's time to become aware of more. That would bring more awareness of love into your awareness. Because we are just awareness. You describe anything to me, you're just telling me what you are aware of. So the truth is saying, let's get aware of something beyond our own little personal, individual perceptions of what we think everything means, so that your awareness can start including things that really turn you on and is really loving for you. So when it says you're not fulfilling your function, it's talking about you're not perceiving correctly and you're not allowing yourself to be guided by source. Because if I was allowing myself to be guided by source, I wouldn't be upset in this moment. Because I would be giving myself a way of looking at things that would give me peace. And that's not an excuse to beat yourself up. It's never about beating yourself up. It's never about judging yourself and condemning yourself for not doing it right and not doing it good enough. Never, ever, 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 ever. Because we were created by love, and love is not condemning us and judging us. So we have to stop. We're the only ones that's putting that on ourselves. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing it right. Cling! I'm not doing it right. I'm going to beat myself up for that. You know what I mean? To keep the psychic sledgehammer under the seat. Don't beat yourself up about making errors in perception. They're just for correction, not for punishment. The old thought system of the ego and fear always tells us, beat yourself up, punish yourself, beat yourself up, punish yourself, feel guilty, beat yourself up, punish yourself, feel guilty, beat yourself up, punish yourself, feel guilty. And that's the thought system we're learning to move away from. The one that's based on that kind of crap. Because that's just crap. Crap that guilty, fearful, insecure, self-hatred minds come up for themselves. It's a plan that is ridiculously cruel to ourselves. It's a cruel plan, the guilt plan, the sin plan, the condemnation plan, the judgment plan, the not loving myself plan, the whipping my butt because I didn't do it right plan. That's the old plan. It's time for the new plan, the new old plan. The plan that came before the plan that's kicking our butt. We need the new old plan. It was really the first plan that we put our plan over that we're trying to get back to. We're trying to get back to the plan, the real plan. And then the part of us that don't believe in it is the part that's going, And you just let that part do its thing and just ignore it. You know, let that part of your mind say, there's a voice in my mind that said the cruelest things to me all during the day. And I've just learned how to go, thank you very much, but I'm not going to follow your advice. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, but I think I'll do it another way. You know, it's not about I'm not trying to get rid of my negative thoughts all day. You could be having fun. You could be enjoying yourself instead of spending your whole day trying to fix yourself. You're not broken. You're just mistaken about who you are. You're not broken. You're not broken. There's nothing to fix on you. There's nothing to fix. We're just trying to get together to remember. We're just trying to get together to remember what we are. You're not broken. There's nothing broken about you. You're broken in your mind if you think you're broken at all. It's just a conversation you're having with yourself, that your physical reality is reflecting back to you, because that's all it can do, is reflect back to you what you think about yourself. That's the way it operates. It doesn't have any choice. So yeah, you're going to get validation about everything you tell yourself about yourself, because the universe is set up to reflect back to you whatever you believe about yourself. So yeah, you're going to get the proof. You're creating it. You're creating the proof that you're as messed up as you tell yourself you are. That's the way you are as a creator. Yeah, the universe said, okay, you think you screwed up? Yes. So I'll give you all kind of screwed up stuff. You know, you tell yourself you're loved and you accept that you're loved, the universe says, yes, I'll show you all kinds of love reflected back to you. And that's all that's happening, all the time, all the time, all the time, 24 hours a day. That's all that's happening. That's what's going to free us. That's what's going to save us. That's what's going to keep us from being in any kind of limiting situation, is that one day we're going to realize it's only happening because of our own perceptions. And we can change those instantly. We could even have those changed for us if we would get into a surrender position to the Holy Spirit and to our higher self and God, which is the same thing. It could be done for you. That's what I like. Yeah, I don't mind somebody doing it for me. You know something can happen for you because you have it happen all day long. People might say to me, go get you a cup of coffee. They're doing something for you. So you know that you don't have to do everything. So you don't have to do all your enlightenment either. You could have that done for you, but only when you recognize that that experience is not going to come from anything outside of you. That experience is going to come from your own choice. Even having God decide for you comes from your own choice. See? So if you can't even make up your mind about something, about what to do, you just say, decide for me, Holy Spirit. Decide for me, loving right mind. Decide for me, God. I don't even know what I want to do today. Decide for me. That's life to decide for you when you don't know what to do. It knows more than you do anyway. It created you. You didn't create it. The Course in Miracles has a beautiful line where it says, you know, stop trying to teach yourself and start letting yourself teach you. Stop trying to teach yourself. Let yourself teach you. I'm like, whoa, that's deep. Yes, brother.
Okay. So,
now, if you raise your hand, I'll see your hand,
okay.
And I'm going to get to you, okay?
Okay, so all the stuff that you talked about brings up an interesting point for me, because a couple of days ago I came up with two huge realizations. One, that I've been identifying more with a part of me that hates me. But then that same night, I had this like huge aha moment where I told myself, no, I'm not going to identify with that anymore, and I choose to identify with the part that loves me.
Thank you. And
it was freeing and everything. It was like so freeing. But now it's like I keep going back and forth. And what happens is that, you know, the part of me that hates me has told me that, you know, the person that I am is that I'm evil, that, you know, I'm helpless, I'm a victim, and I need everyone to do stuff around me. But this new part that loves me, that I'm starting to identify with me, tells me that I'm empowered, that I got this greatness in me, you know, that comes from God. And if I just own it and live into it and express it, oh, man, it just, awesome things will happen. But like, I seem to be going back and forth. And like like today, I've had the kind of day where I've like chose to identify with the part of me that hates me.
Okay.
And so then I tell myself, well, because I don't like it. I hate that part. I hate feeling the way I do. But I still identify with it. So then my ego tells me, well, then you must be a victim. It must be something outside of you. And everything that you've learned in here is a lie. Right. Because it's outside of you. Right. If you don't like it and you're still experiencing it, see? But I've got to believe that it's my choice somehow.
Yes.
So, and I need to hold on to that because that is like my salvation.
Yes.
And so, I don't know, just hearing, I'm like really confused, Earl, and I have been asking Spirit for correct perception.
Right.
To give me the willingness to choose something different.
Right.
To see this a different way, and I'm just really confused because, you know, some people have told me that do this stuff, that, oh, well, I can let it go just like that. You know, I could let this whole identity go just like that if I choose to.
Yeah, you can.
And so then, but I'm not choosing to, and so then what's wrong with me? And
Well, that's why it hasn't gone. Because you haven't chosen to let it go yet. So what I'm saying to you is it's a trick of your ego to judge you about how fast you're doing it. It's ridiculous to think that you're going to change a lifetime's worth of programming in a month, or 2 months, or 3 months. It's possible, but let's get real. You're going to have to be patient with yourself in this process. And sometimes you're going to think you're siding with the party that loves you, and sometimes you're going to think you aren't. But you did the key thing. You said, it was me making the choice to go back and forth. It was my ego that was telling me that I wasn't loved. See, the thing that's so important is to realize you just have to keep doing the truth consistently over and 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 over. Because the way you feel about yourself right now, it happened because of what you were told over and over and over and over and over and over. And so now you're telling yourself something new, so you have to be patient enough to let those new thoughts take root within you, just like you let the old negative thoughts take root in you. And because it's the truth, it won't take as long. Because it's the truth, you have more support from God, the universe, and everything else. So the confusion is a very high state, because confusion means that you let go of one way of thinking, but you haven't completely embraced the new one yet. So it means you're no longer stuck. Confusion means you're no longer stuck. It means you're no longer riveted rigidly in your old way of thinking. So be thankful for your confusion and disorientation, because it means you're actually changing for real. People who say they're studying this stuff and they don't go through any disorientation or change, they're not. They're not. They're not, because there's no way you can change 180 degrees from what you believe and not go through any kind of stress or disorientation. I don't believe it personally. I don't believe you can go all the way from here to here and then have absolutely no problem with it whatsoever, even though your whole world is being turned upside down. So basically, a person who is not feeling some form of disorientation and confusion is not really changing. They're just thinking about changing, and they're talking about changing, but they're not changing. When you really try to live the truth, you'll know it, because your whole world will become a challenge for a while. You will be dealing with your old thought system while you're trying to deal with your new thought system and trying to work this out with the people that's in your experience, that you're trying to forgive, that you know you have grievances with. You know, you can't tell me you're going to go through all those different processes and not go through some form of disorientation and confusion. So if a person's going through no disorientation and confusion, my perception is that they're not really seriously challenging themselves to accept a new thought system yet. So the fact that you're going through that means you are really challenging your old way of looking at things. And then you said the key thing, my ego, what I'm telling myself, the part of me that I chose to identify with that hates me, and I'm admitting that there's a part of me that hates me, but there's another part of me that's completely powerful and strong. You know, you can't do it any better than that, Chris. That's the way you do it. That's the way you make the shift. You know, and I want you to hear me say that. Hear that. What you're doing is the natural stages that you go through when a person is transforming and awakening. You're doing it right. You're taking responsibility for what you are experiencing. Even if it's something that confuses you and makes you unhappy and tells you you're not loving. You are saying, I am doing that to myself. There is no way that you could be limited. There's no way that you will not be healed and come to recognize the love that we're learning, as long as you keep the attitude you're taking right now. So anything that tells you that you're not succeeding, that is the ego. That is the lie. And I'm glad you even said it was my ego telling me the lie. You know, you are an incredible inspiration to me. Incredible inspiration to me.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. The level that you listen at, the level that you respond at, the level that you question, it's incredible. It's incredible. So don't believe your lying ego. Don't believe your lying ego. You're going through what people go through if they're really trying to do it.
Thanks.
Yeah. Nobody who's really trying to do this is going to feel happy all the time. You're not. Or you already be an enlightened being that would be like levitating around the room. You know what I'm saying? It's like ain't nowhere in the world your holy reality is gonna be turned upside down and you're gonna dippity doo all the time. No, it ain't gonna happen if you're really doing it. So I always want to invite people to come to my classes and feel like crap as much as they come to my classes and feel all optimistic and everything. If we're doing this right, we're going to go through all kinds of feelings and emotions with each other. And this needs to be a crucible and a holy, healed, safe place for people to feel all the things that are going to come up if they're really trying to awaken and let go of their ego. Because some fear is going to come up, some sadness is going to come up, some depression is going to come up, some anger is going to come up. If you are truly trying to release the darkness from yourself to the light to be healed. There is no way that's going to happen in every second you're positive and feeling good about it, unless you're already enlightened. Then in that case, what are you doing it for to begin with? You know what I'm saying? If you're already to the point that you can look at every single thing that happens in your life and then look at it as, oh, that's a wonderful thing, then what are you trying to learn? You've already mastered the whole curriculum. But if you're a person that knows you have some issues and some fears and some things that you want to let go of, then the way you can tell you're doing the curriculum is you're no longer ashamed to let those feelings rise to the surface so that they can be looked at with the eyes of love. You're just the opposite. You're not pretending you're happy all the time. You might be the main one in the floor in a heap crying and sobbing your eyes out because you are growing so much that there's no need for you to hide those things anymore because you feel safe and innocent enough to release them and let them finally pass through you, no longer be held for examination and judgment so that the love behind it can come through and transform your whole experience. So to me, if a person getting this stuff, they're getting realer about the part of them that's not so loving, not so nice, not so kind all the time. I don't think it means that the person looks happier and happier and happier and happier every day without something coming up to be released. That's just like watching a person in a mask. People who smile all the time, that's just like looking at somebody with a mask on. Because nobody smiles all the time, unless they're already enlightened. And in that case, what in the heck are you doing here? Why are you in the class? If you already got it all together, why? You know what I'm saying? Well, I just want to see how you little slobs are doing it. You know? I'm here to bring my brilliant light to all of you. What do you mean, why am I here? You know, that's why I'm here. But I'm looking for the folk that it's safe for me to go to pieces around. I'm looking for the folk that it's safe for me to feel all my feelings and be reminded that I'm an innocent child of God, that I'm powerful. I'm not looking for the experience where I have to always act a certain way all the time in order to be okay. That's not what I'm personally looking for. I want to have relationships in my life where all my feelings are permissible and I feel innocent about all of my feelings. And I can let any of them off at any time with the goal of peace in my life. Because that's when life is passing through me. I mean, we chose to be in physical bodies with physical senses, with physical emotions and feelings because we wanted to know what it felt like to experience all this stuff. Then we came up with the idea of sin and guilt and made some feelings permissible and some of them not. And so now instead of just feeling all these incredible emotions and feelings passing through us, we're stopping and judging them and examining them and condemning ourselves for having them, which is insanity.
It's crazy.
It's just crazy. It's crazy to say you don't have to feel one way all the time. There's only love and there's only fear, but love has many manifestations as fear does too. You know, so we're being blessed to finally be able to feel our power and to feel who we really are in an innocent way. That's incredible when you think about it. That you are here to fulfill a grand purpose that nobody else can fulfill but you. And when you allow yourself to do that, you'll find that your life will become the happy dream. And the happy dream is the dream where there's nothing but abundance and there's no lack in your life and your perception anywhere. That comes from fulfilling your function. And then people say, what is my function? Practice asking. Practice asking God, what would you have me do? Where would you have me go? Who do you want me to talk to? What's my purpose? What should I do today? The person that's really wanting to fulfill their function is a person that's asking. A person who's still in charge with the little I self is always the person that's making decisions without checking in with spirit first. You see what I'm saying? If you still in your I self, you never stop for a second and say, Holy Spirit, what would you have me do in this situation? Higher self, what would you have me do in this situation? Love, where do you want me to go in this situation? Just the mere fact that you stopped long enough to do that, even if you think you didn't even hear an answer, the fact that you stopped long enough to do that means you're finally trying to learn how to listen to your higher self for the first time in your life. That's the thing you should be proud about, even if you didn't hear the answer. the fact that you even ask is a symbol of an evolving consciousness.
Yeah.
So how many times a day do you make plans that you do not include the source in? You don't mention the source, you don't ask for the source's guidance, anything. It's just, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I got to figure this out, I got to figure that out. Then you're in your ego, and that's where the struggle comes from, because it's just your little self separate from the whole, instead of you being an integral part of the whole, fulfilling your function that benefits everybody and also makes you feel happy and fulfilled. Mm-hmm.
If I chose to have a human experience,
Mm-hmm.
as a spirit, I chose to have a human experience and feel things, and then I allow myself certain things, but I don't allow myself other things, what you're saying. Some feelings are okay and some aren't. I don't understand. Why did I choose that?
Well, the reason why you chose that is because out of your free will, according to the rumor, out of your free will, you could imagine anything. So one thought you had would be, what would it be like to believe that I'm actually separate from everything, an individual from everything? In other words, this is just an expression of an idea that you had in your mind because you want to have the experience. It has nothing to do with being bad or good. It's just like you saying, I wonder what it would be like to wear a sweater today. You know, I wonder what it would be like to be a human being separate, thinking I'm separate. I wonder what it would be like to think that I was a body. I wonder what it would be like to think I was in a world and where I was separate from everything else. So this was just supposed to be a grand experiment and expression of your creativity that somehow went awry. And it went awry from the idea of guilt, sin, bad. Us also making up the idea that there's something wrong with having the experience, or there's something bad about having the experience, or something guilty about having the experience. So it just came from a thought in your mind of what would it be like to have this? What would it be like to be the way you are right now? Everything is coming from an idea deep within your own being that wanted to have a certain experience. But then we took it too seriously. We got too caught up in it. It's like an actor who forgets that he's not the actor, that he's not the role he's playing. We're like actors who've forgotten that they're not the role they're playing. So instead of experiencing what it would be like to express as a father with a child, let's say, now I think I am a father with a child. I don't realize I'm a spiritual being playing out the role of being a father with a child. And that child is really creating their reality, and that how I am as a parent really doesn't have any effect on how the child turns out. How the child turns out is going to be how the soul of the child intends to turn out for its own spiritual lessons that it's given itself. And part of the lessons that the child wanted to give itself was the lessons that you would present to the child as the child's parent. But in the end, it's the child that's determining its experience. We are all determining our experience, and we're all helping each other have the experiences we've chosen to have. That's what's really going on. And when you forget that, it's when the pain happens. When you forget that, that's when the fun leaves. It leaves when you become the role you're playing. And now you are the mother who has a ton of responsibility about how the child turns out. And so instead of being this light, breezy, loving expression that the child could learn through, you're taking the inordinate guilt and sense of responsibility about everything that they do. So it's the way we're looking at it, he says, what's causing the problem. It's not the play we're choosing to have. It's how we're choosing to look at it that's keeping it from being the glorious experience of fun and joy that it could be for us. It's how we're choosing to look at it. If I choose to look at it like I could never have a relationship that would really be fulfilling to me, then I'm going to give myself have the experience of not having a relationship that looks like it's really wonderful for me. But I don't realize it's just an expression of my creative ability, my ability to have a thought or an image in my mind and then have it in my physical experience for me to live out. And so if I'm not taking responsibility, then I don't have any choice but to see it as if it's something that's happening to me instead of something that's being initiated by me. Those are the only two choices I got. Either I'm a victim or I'm the one that's the creator. And then people say, well, how would you create this horrible thing that happened to you? If you believe in sin and guilt and you're not enough and you don't deserve to be happy and all the other core race beliefs that we've gotten, of course you're going to create things that happen to you that seem like they don't make you happy or hurt you. You know, we all know, like you said, that part of you that hates you, Don't you think a part of you that hates you would also be a part of you that would cause an injury to you, or a part of you that cause you emotional distress, or cause you to choose a relationship that wouldn't bring you peace? The part of you that hates you is going to try to manifest things that make you unhappy. So where do those things that make us unhappy come from? They come from the thoughts that we have about ourselves that's less than loving. And unless everybody here is in total denial, everybody here knows they have some thought about themselves that's less than loving. Okay, well, that's where the things that come from in your life that makes you less than happy come from. It comes from that idea that you yourself have to admit you have about yourself at some level, or you be saying, I'm whole and complete, and I feel completely happy and in love with everything and everybody in here right now because there is no sense of separation in me whatsoever. So if I'm not feeling that, then there's something in me that feels separate. That part of me creates what appears to be separation. But that's nothing to be afraid of anymore, because now I'm not a victim of things. I could just change my mind and change the whole thing. See, that's the thing. Don't focus so much on whether what I'm saying is true or not. Focus on the idea that no matter what you're going through right now, you could change it. That there's nothing that's limiting you now. If you think you don't have enough money, you can change it through changing your consciousness. If you feel like you don't have a relationship, you can change it by changing your consciousness. If you feel like you're not having an exciting life, you can change it by changing your consciousness. If you want to travel, experience incredible things in your life, you can change that by changing your consciousness. You're not stuck. This is good news. This isn't bad news. It's good news. The fact that whatever you're going through right now, you could have it changed for the better is good news, unless you're so set on punishing yourself that you refuse to give yourself that choice. That's the symbol of the part of you that hates you. The part of you that hates you will make you sit around and wallow in your misery without making a change. The part of you that hates you will still tell you that you can't have what you want because of your age, your sex, your race, your economic condition, the way you look, what you got, all that's stopping you from having what you want. You can always tell when it's your ego talking to you, because whenever your ego is talking to you, it makes you feel like a victim. It makes you say something outside of you is creating it and it's not you creating it. That's how you can tell the difference between the ego and spirit. If it's ego, it's outside of you that's the problem. If it's spirit, you're going, what is it in me that needs to be healed? What is it in me that needs to re-perceive? What is it in me that needs to be more loving? And you're excited about that because it means you don't have to stay stuck in the situation that's making you miserable. You know, it's great for me now to have compassion for people, but also realize they're suffering because they want to. And when I'm suffering, I'm doing it because at some level I want to. That's great to me, because then you don't have to get so caught up in looking at the person as being a victim, and so you get caught up all up in their game. And so therefore you're not presenting them with the alternative, which is, I know you think you're miserable, but there's another way you could be right now. And I'm gonna demonstrate that by living my life as if I'm responsible, so that you can see that whatever you're upset about could be changed. That you're not trapped in anything right now that's making you unhappy. None of you, including me, we are not trapped. It's the way it is because that's the way you want it. It's the way it is because that's the way you want it. If you don't have nobody right now, you don't want nobody right now. If you don't have no money right now, you don't want no money right now. That sounds tough, but I'm telling you, that's the only way out of the situation that's making you miserable. No one's going to rescue you because you're not imprisoned. There's nobody to break you out of jail. You're like a person that's sitting in a jail cell, that the door is wide open, in a prison that's deserted with weeds growing over the walls. Sitting back waiting, who's going to come and save me from this situation that I'm in? And there's nobody even in the prison, not even in the guards. But you're sitting up there on the bunk. Oh, I'm so miserable. I don't know what about. I don't think I could ever have anybody. That's your play. That's the role you're playing as the actor or actress. That's your little serial drama, just as much as a TV show you see on TV every night. This is your latest episode. The I can't have no boyfriend episode. I can't have no money episode. I can't have no health episode. And if it's really true, and you know it's true right now, part of you probably might even be feeling a little irritated with me for even saying it. Right, that's okay. If you're irritated, I'm glad, because you need to hear that you're free.
Yeah.
Your life is boring because you're boring.
Yeah.
Your life is exciting because you're exciting. It's the truth. I'm bored. You are boring. That's why you're bored. I'm bored. Boring. I am bored. I am bored. I am boring.
But you can change it all.
But that's the whole cool. It's coming from me. Oh well, then I could change that. I could change that. What do I need to do? Just the opposite of every friggin' thing you do. Start with everything, you make a list of everything you do, and do just the opposite. If you quiet in the class, start talking. If you talk all the time, listen more. If you never dance, go dancing even if you think you got 2 left feet. You know what I'm saying? Do the opposite of what you are inclined to do. If you're waiting for somebody to come knock on your door, you call somebody up and say, let's go out. You waiting for somebody to come ask you out, you call somebody and say, let's go somewhere. You know, you broke, you give some money away. You know, that's what you do. You do the opposite of what you are doing in the situation you're so miserably in. Earl. I know who these classes for. You know, I might not know much more in life, but I know who these classes are for. You okay? Because you're powerful. You're unlimited beings. You can do anything. You can have it any way you want.
Yay!
You can.
It's true.
Thank you for listening to me.
Oh,
I'm going to claim it for you. I'm going to claim it for you. I'm sorry. I'm going to claim it for you. Let's do the love offering, please. Thank you for sharing with me. I appreciate that so much. And so they don't show up because you're not that way. That's deep. It's like, how come they don't show up? Because the person you were expecting wouldn't want you.
Ah.
That's cold, man. That's cold. It's cold-blooded. But you listen to the average person, say what kind of person they want. It's always the person that has qualities you are better than them. You know, I want this person to be totally loving, totally forgiving, totally passionate, totally prosperous, totally intelligent, totally spiritual, totally healed, totally open-minded, nothing but fun. And now I've said in classes many times, you know, would a person like that want you? If a person really had those qualities, and think about the way you are now, be honest, and think about your personality and the way you do things, would you really be the first one on the top of their wish list? But there is somebody that you are at the top of their wish list.
Yes.
And I'm not saying the answer couldn't be yes, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying get real. Is that I noticed I was constantly asking for people who had qualities that I was not exemplifying myself. And that I had to make the decision that I wanted to try to be what I wanted to have. That I had to start trying to have those qualities. I don't pull it off all the time, so I don't expect anybody else to. And so that makes you more forgiving because you're not expecting people to be different from you. I can't pull it off 100% of the time, always being kind, loving, okay. So why do I expect another person I'm in a relationship with to be kind, okay, all the time? Without themselves sometimes losing it. That's not even fair. That's not right. You know you don't do it all the time. So why would I expect somebody else to do it all the time? Especially to the point that I could never forgive you. Get off it. That's like the most arrogant statement in the world. You must be like Christ-like. You must be like perfect all the time. You never do nothing wrong, ever. To feel like you can't forgive somebody for things you know you do yourself or have done before. You know you've done everything you're mad at somebody else about. I'm mad because you're late. Oh, you've never been late in your entire life. I'm mad because you didn't keep your word. Oh, you kept your word 100% of the time. Every time you've ever said anything. Of course you haven't. So that's what makes forgiveness easy, when you know you're the same. What makes forgiveness hard is when you have this illusionary belief that you're somehow different from the person you're trying to forgive, which is always a total lie. Because we all are just alike. We just do it at different times. We just do the same thing at different times. I bet you everybody in this room has been angry at least once. You know, except the ones that's lying. You know, and that's cute though. And even if you do say something like you never do, nobody believe you. There won't be a person in this room that believe you if you said you never gotten angry. Is it? No. So stop condemning yourself. Stop condemning yourself for your natural human feelings, the good ones as well as the ones you think of as not okay. It's all okay. We want to be human for a while. It's just a temporary gig. It's just a limited number of years. Y'all gonna be hanging out with body. You best start enjoying it instead of spending all the time judging yourself and criticizing yourself and sitting around bored and unhappy. You're gonna be out of here in a minute. That body is changing. What you saving it for? You better enjoy it. You won't have to worry about a lot of people wanting it one day. So you can just be as tight with it as you want to be. Don't worry. You want me just for my body. One day I won't. I guarantee you, one day I won't want you for your body. So I'm not saying go out and do all kind of wild things with your body. I'm just saying take a look at your attitude towards your body.
Yeah.
Because it's really funny. It won't stay the same. Nothing in the world stays the same. Nothing in the world stays the same. Everything in the world is going to change. You can count on it, right? Okay, so I'm going to say one more sentence and let y'all go out and examine. Okay? One more time. I want some good before that. Okay. I'm saying you're magnificent. I don't know what you hear me saying, but I'm saying you're powerful. I'm saying you deserve to be happy. I'm saying it can't be that way. So I'd like to say to you one more time before I go. Nothing that you experience is caused by anything outside of you. If you don't know what you'd like to experience right now, all you have to do is say, decide for me, Holy Spirit. Decide for me, Holy Spirit. Decide for me, higher self. Decide for me, higher self. Decide for me, God. Decide for me, God. Decide for me, God. I don't know. I don't know the perfect person for me. I don't know the perfect situation right now. I don't know what my special function is. Reveal it to me. I'm willing to have it revealed to me now. Reveal it to me. I ask, what would it take for my special function to be revealed to me right now? What would it take for my special function to be revealed to me in ways beyond my wildest imagination? What would it take for my special function that would bring me happiness to be revealed to me beyond my wildest imagination? What would it take for that perfect relationship to show up in my life that I would allow myself to experience total joy in beyond my wildest imagination? What would it take for the kind of prosperity and abundance that I would love to see myself recognize in my life? How can I allow that to come in ways beyond my wildest imagination through the Holy Spirit? Put it in the form of a question. Just ask, but don't try to answer. Just ask, but don't try to answer. Just ask, but don't try to answer. Get in the habit of asking, and you shall receive. Just ask, and you shall receive. Say, ask. Put it in the form of a question. Right now, if there's an issue in your life that's causing you pain, ask yourself, what would it take for this situation to be solved? What would it take for this situation to be solved in a way beyond my wildest imagination through the Holy Spirit within me? What would it take? Thank you, you juicy and cute beings. Would you give it up to you? I'm telling you, hugs are available. I love hugs. So go out and make a good play. Make a good play. It's your play. What you gonna do with it? What kind of movie you gonna make?
It's not boring.